Welcome to another repair guide. Today we'll be teaching you how to fix your carrier furnace. This video will cover error codes, troubleshooting, and repair tips. Be sure to subscribe for more content and check out our website. There's a link in the description. Enjoy the video. If you're looking for help fixing your carrier furnace, look no further. Our comprehensive carrier furnace error code guide will explain common issues, provide tips, and show you how to read your model's error codes. Code: rapid LED flashing. Problem: line voltage polarity is reversed. Fix: if twinned, refer to twinning kit instructions. Code: error code 11. Problem: no previous code. Fix: stored status codes are erased when power to control is interrupted. Code: error code 12. Problem: the blower is on after power up. Fix: the blower runs for 90 seconds if the unit is powered up during a call for heat. Code: error code 13. Problem: limit or flame rollout switch lockout. Fix: control will auto reset after 3 hours. Reset the switch or replace the fuse link. Code: error code 14. Problem: ignition lockout. Fix: control will auto reset after 3 hours. Code: error code 21. Problem: gas heating lockout. Fix: control won't auto reset. Check for either a badly wired gas valve or a defective control. Code: error code 22. Problem: abnormal flame proving signal. Fix: flame is proved while the gas valve is de-energized. Check for either a leaky or stuck open gas valve. Code: error code 23. Problem: the pressure switch didn't open. Fix: check for an obstruction in the pressure tubing or a pressure switch that is stuck closed. Code: error code 24. Problem: the secondary voltage fuse is open. Fix: check for a short circuit in the secondary voltage wiring. Code: error code 31. Problem: pressure, draft safeguard, O-limit switch, or blocked vent switch didn't close or reopened. Downflow only. Fix: if open for longer than 5 minutes, the inducer will shut off for 15 minutes before retry. Check for low inducer voltage, proper vent sizing, defective inducer motor, defective blower motor or capacitor, defective pressure switch, restricted vent, excessive wind, inadequate combustion air supply, or obstructed pressure tubing. Code: error code 33. Problem: limit or flame rollout switch is open. Fix: if the switch is open for longer than 3 minutes, the code will change to number 13. The flame rollout switch requires a manual reset. Check for a defective blower motor or capacitor, dirty filter or restricted duct system, loose blower wheel, faulty switch or connections, or inadequate combustion air supply. Code: error code 34. Problem: ignition proving a failure. Fix: control will try 3 more times before lockout number 14 will occur. If the flame signal is lost after the trial for the ignition period, the blower will come on for a 90-second recycle delay. Check for build-up on the flame sensor, proper microamp distribution to the flame sensor, defective gas valve or turned-off gas valve, faulty hot surface igniter, low inlet gas pressure, the manual valve is shut off, continuity of control ground, low flame carryover or rough ignition, ungrounded flame sensor. If you're looking for help fixing your carrier furnace, look no further. Our comprehensive carrier furnace troubleshooting guide will explain common issues, provide tips, and show you how to read your model's error codes. Not heating. Most likely, either the electrical system providing your furnace's power has shorted or the power switch has blown. Try resetting your furnace's circuit breaker. If it has blown, you will need to replace it. The furnace's igniter might either be cracked or faulty. Check the part for cracks. If it is, then replace the igniter. If it isn't cracked, use a multimeter to test for continuity. Cycling irregularly. Your thermostat might be adjusting incorrectly, causing the furnace to cycle on and off too often. If your thermostat has an adjustable calibration scale, adjust the heat anticipator. If this does not stabilize the unit, you may have to replace the thermostat. Not blowing hot air. Your blower motor may have completely burnt out. If this doesn't seem to be the case, then the connecting belt may have simply broken. Test to see if power is reaching the motor. If it does but isn't running, the motor has likely failed. If the motor runs but the air doesn't move, the connecting belt has probably broken. You'll have to replace the belt. Blowing too much air. The control board regulates the amount of voltage that reaches each functioning part. If the relay that controls the blower motor has failed, it will continually send voltage to the motor. Replace the control board. The contact that controls the blower motor on your thermostat may be stuck closed, causing the blower motor to run continuously. Use a multimeter to check for continuity. If it appears the thermostat is the issue, replace it. Leaking water. Check the drain pipe, starting and then stopping shortly after. Your furnace's flame sensor monitors the burner, detecting whether a flame is present. If it is either defective or dirty, it will not be able to detect a flame. If dirty, clean the sensor using a fine abrasive pad. If faulty, replace the flame sensor. The furnace doesn't turn on. Check that the thermostat is set correctly to heat. The mode could be off or set on cooling, or the set point might be higher than the indoor temperature, causing the furnace to turn off until additional heat is required. Try adjusting the temperature on the thermostat to be higher than the current room temperature. Check the thermostat to ensure it is getting power. Those that aren't hardwired into your home use batteries that may need to be replaced. Check that the fan switch is turned to the on or auto setting. Check the circuit breaker to ensure the furnace is still getting power. Check the pilot light if you are using an older furnace. If the pilot has gone out, relight it carefully. Check to ensure that the gas supply is still on. However, if you suspect a gas leak or smell gas in your home, do not turn any switches on or off, and do not attempt to relight the pilot light. Call the gas company to check it. Air is not hot enough. Check the air filter. A clogged filter limits the amount of air that gets through. The furnace turns off and on constantly. Check the thermostat setting. Check the air filter. Check to ensure room air vents are open and objects are not covering them. The furnace runs noisily. Whistling sound. Check the air filter to see if it is clogged. A loud ignition sound when starting up the furnace. Check the burner. A clogged burner can delay ignition, which causes a loud noise when the gas ignites. This repair requires an expert. Whistling or rattling. Check for loose connections in the ductwork that can rattle as air flows through. Igniter. The igniter gets very hot and glows bright orange to light the gas burner. If the igniter fails or cracks, the furnace won't heat. To determine if the igniter is faulty, remove the igniter and inspect it for cracks. If the igniter is cracked, replace it. If the igniter is not cracked, use a multimeter to test the igniter for continuity. If the igniter does not have continuity, replace it. Flame sensor. The flame sensor monitors the burner to detect whether or not a flame is present. If the flame sensor is defective, it might fail to detect a flame. If the flame sensor does not detect a flame, the control board will shut off voltage to the gas valve to prevent the furnace from heating. Sometimes, if the flame sensor is dirty, it will fail to detect a flame. Try cleaning the flame sensor with a fine abrasive pad. If the furnace still doesn't heat, replace the flame sensor. Draft inducer motor. The draft inducer motor draws air into the heat exchanger and then exhausts it out the flue. The pressure switch senses a pressure change and closes a switch to signal the control board that the furnace has proper airflow. If the draft inducer motor is defective, it may be unable to close the pressure switch, causing the ignition process to stall and the furnace to shut off after a few minutes. If the ignition process stalls, the furnace will shut off. If the draft inducer motor is at fault, replace it. Control board. The control board regulates the power supply to all of the components of the furnace. If the control board fails, it might not send voltage to the ignition system, causing the furnace not to heat. Flame rollout limit switch. The flame rollout switch monitors the heat surrounding the burners. If the inducer fan motor cannot draw enough air through the burners, or if the furnace is not venting properly, the rollout switch will open to halt the ignition sequence and prevent the furnace from heating. To determine if the flame rollout switch is defective, use a multimeter to test it for continuity. If the switch does not have continuity and the reset button is not tripped, replace it. Be aware that poor airflow through the burner is often a result of insufficient ventilation or a restricted exhaust vent. Make sure that your furnace is in a properly ventilated location and the exhaust vent is clear of obstructions. Wall thermostat. The wall thermostat has electrical contacts that control the power supply to the furnace. If the contacts in the thermostat fail, the furnace will not turn on. To determine if the thermostat is defective, use a multimeter to test it for continuity. If the wall thermostat does not have continuity, replace it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. And stay tuned for more repair guides.